What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flux Harmonic Live. I'm David Wilson, and we're back with another game jam. This time we're going to do the Autumn Lisp Game Jam 2023. I haven't gotten to participate in one of the Lisp Game Jams yet, so I'm really excited to be taking part in this one this time. The interesting thing about this particular jam is that we're going to be using... Let's see, let me just go to Chromium here. We're going to be using a new toolchain for... Oh, okay, this one doesn't work. Let's just go back to Firefox. A new toolchain for compiling Scheme to WebAssembly called Guile Hoot. Let's see, can it come up here? Great. Okay, that's the repo, but where is the Scheme in the browser as a first-class citizen? Come on now, sprightly.institute. We'll turn on the music a little bit here. Okay, so this is an effort by the Sprightly Institute to bring Scheme into the browser for the purpose of making it possible to write Scheme applications, and not only that, but to sort of develop the a new model for decentralized networked applications using a technology called Sprightly Goblins. We're not going to deal with Sprightly Goblins today, but we are going to check out the new toolchain for Guile Hoot, which is has just been released. The 0.1.0 release just came out, which is a big deal because it means that it's working well enough for someone like me to start using it to try it out. It is not complete in the sense that you have like a full Scheme environment, and the binding between the Scheme environment that compiles a WebAssembly is not really complete. The interface to the JavaScript environment is not complete. But we're going to do what we can to make a game with the Guile Hoot technology in the week that we have here, I guess, to work on it. And I'm pretty excited about it because I've been wanting to write Scheme in the browser for a long time, so this is going to be cool for me at least. I'm not going to go over this page. I just wanted to point out that this is sort of a post about it that goes into more detail about the things that are in there, which is pretty cool. But I'll also go to the repo just in case we need it at some point in the near future. But that's it. So for the game jam, what I want to do is try to implement a relatively straightforward Solitaire game. At first, we'll try to just do normal Solitaire, nothing really fancy. But once the basic game logic starts working, I want to start experimenting with some different mechanics to give it more of a cyberpunk theme. By cyberpunk, I mean sort of, like a hacker type theme or more of a futuristic type theme. So we'll see how far we get with the base game, and then we'll try to start messing around with some other ideas that I have for that, which should be pretty fun. So let's see. Let me just start writing this stuff down. Oh, come on. Stop trying to load up manifest files. Implement. Oh, well, let's go to... Yeah. Start with goals. Create a simple Solitaire game in the browser with Scheme. I don't really know what else I could say for goals. I mean, that's really it. We just want to create a game, Solitaire game. We'll come up with more goals later as we go, but I think that's really just it for now. The plan would be to implement a... Man, this thing keeps trying to run this manifest. I'm going to have to turn that feature off. Implement the basic game functionality. Then implement new game mechanics to introduce the cyberpunk theme. Keyboard, I guess, yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that another time, maybe, once we get more into it. This thing's gonna really irritate me. Via Guile Hoot. Can I turn this thing off? So the thing about this package I'm using called buffer-env is that once you activate it, I don't know that you can easily deactivate it. Let me check my dot files. All right, here it is right here. Yeah, if I take out the hack local variables hook for buffer-env update, yeah, let's just set that back to nil. That should get it out of our hair for now. And I'm also going to take both of these out because I really don't want those in there for future loads. Okay, so let's see. What I've done is I've already got a starter project that I've been working on for Guile Hoot. codeberg.org/davidwillis/Guile Hoot starter. This is a template. Really? You want me to log in to go to this page? There it is. Okay. This is a template repo that you can go to on codeberg.org, and you can create a new repo based on this. Now, I will say, hey, Dave, I will say that this is not fully working correctly just yet. There's a couple other things I need to do to make this work. So I'll be pushing commits to this branch or to this repo as well to get the starter project ironed out so that it works for everyone first try. But the goal basically is to make it so that someone could just create another repo on Codeberg based on this repo and have automated builds and publishing of their project to Codeberg pages. So you get, every time you commit to master, you'll get a new build of the site and the app up on your site, which is cool, which is what I want to do for this jam, because I want you to be able to play what I'm making as I'm making it. So I'll have to get it working on the repo for the project, which I should probably mention. Let's see, codeberg.org/fluxharmonic. Yeah, this is why I was talking to you about Docker images, Dave, because I'm trying to get it set up so we can build Hoot apps on Woodpecker CI, which is the CI system that is used by Codeberg right now. And they just use Docker containers for all the automation. I did manage to get it working. Now I just have to get my little scripts here fixed so that it automates the placement of the runtime files in someone's folder so they don't have to do it themselves. So anyway, this is the repo for the project. The name is kind of terrible, but generally for game jams, I tend to put like a shortening of the game jam name, the year, and also the name of the project. So that's the reason why the name of this repo looks a little bit weird. Cool. So I'll go back to the README file. Let me just put a link to Guile Hoot in here, just in case anybody is interested in taking a look at this, because I will be committing all the stuff to the repo as we go. All right, so let's see what we currently have in here. So this base starter kit have like an index.html file, which is the entry point for this app. Let me just go ahead and change this title to CyberSol. And I don't think I have a title in here either, do I? Title. I thought I turned Copilot off. No, turn it off. Anyway, so yeah, this is like a basic form thing. That actually does work. Maybe I'll just run it and you can sort of see what that looks like. But that's the HTML file we have. It pulls in this runtime file that's part of Hoot that we have to pull into our project, reflect.js, and also pulls in this main.js file, which is part of the code of this repo. And then it just has a basic form where you can click a button and it calls into a function that's actually a part of the scheme code. And the scheme code is in this main.sem file, right? This is just, really basic code just to test everything out. But we've just defined a very basic, effectively module in Scheme that gets compiled to WebAssembly. Have a couple functions here, one that handles input, another that will give you a count of the number of calls to this function that have happened so far, just to test it, to see that, you can store things in memory. And then main.js imports that WASM file. And then you have a click handler set up on the submit button, which I don't know, do I need that anymore? Maybe this is out of date here. I was kind of like half done with this. Yeah, I should probably take that out. That's probably not needed anymore. I was half done with this last week, but then I ran into trouble, so I never got to finish putting things together. Anyway, let me just run it and see what we see. So I'm going to pull up a shell here. In fact, I need to pull up vterm to do this. All right, so geeks shell manifest.sem. That's going to pull us into a shell that has the new version of Guile plus Guile Hoot as well. This is the first time I've run this profile here. So, okay, cool. So I think I should be able to run my scripts/build command. And that built this main.wasm file. And now I have a serve command as well that will serve this. And if I go into Chromium right, you need Chrome Unstable to load this code. So I'm gonna go to Chrome Unstable, and then I'll go to localhost 8080. And now you can see we've got our cybersol here. Enter some text, hello. I'll click try it, and what it does is it calls into the scheme code, and the scheme code will uppercase that text, and then it also increments this call count. So I can just keep clicking this, and you'll see that every time I click it, the call count increases. Yeah, this is some really, really basic, dumb UI, but you know, just something to see that it actually works end to end. Hello, foo. So all that does work. That just shows us that we have a basis to work from now for the game project. I'll close this. Oh, let's keep that open. Okay. Yeah, it does work. I checked on that. That was like the first thing I thought of, is whether string upcase is implemented, but it does work. So that was a nice thing. All right, and for the scripts, I actually did steal the serve script that is in the Guile Hoot repo, which is also basically copying some code from the Haunt project. So yeah, I noticed there's a lot of missing string stuff, but that's okay, because you know we don't really need a whole lot, just enough for it to work at a basic level. All right, so now that we see that working, let me think. Let me go more into detail on the plan. So first of all, I want to get basic HTML canvas rendering working on the JavaScript side. Actually, let's also talk about the design. So this game will be implemented in both JavaScript and Scheme. The JavaScript side will handle both rendering of the game and handling and input, but none of the real game logic. The Scheme side will handle all of the game logic by exposing functions that the JavaScript code can call. The challenge will be to come up with a reasonable protocol for communicating a game state between the two languages, because we can't really send like whole Scheme objects across to be processed. It's like, I'm pretty sure you can't send a Scheme list. You're gonna have to like turn it into something else. So I'm thinking I'll probably turn some of the game state into a string that I can hand across, and then the JavaScript side can process that, which is obviously very inefficient, but this is not a high performance game. This is a solitaire game where usually the only time things are happening is when the user is clicking on stuff. So that should be fine. Okay, so first I want to get the basic HTML canvas rendering working. To draw cards, let's say. Then I want to implement basic game state and logic in the Scheme side to represent the stacks of cards. And then on the JS side, call into the Scheme side to get the game state to be rendered. On the Scheme side, expose functions to perform actions against the game state. So the JavaScript side is like a dumb client, basically. It will ask for the initial game state when a game starts, and then render the screen based on that. It may have to have its own view of the world, sort of its own like arrays of information. Yeah, Dave says the best option right now is to call Scheme procedures with numbers and strings. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like even arrays, you probably can't pass arrays across either. So if you can't pass arrays across, then really all you have is strings. Hey, Benoit. And I just noticed that the chat is not showing up on the stream. Let me see if I can get that up. Chat. It may not be working today. That's okay. All right, so that's enough for now. I mean, that's enough for us to get started today. I'll stream for probably about an hour and a half on this, maybe a little bit more than that. But I think that's enough for us to get some things going. So Dave says, reflect.js has a way to create vectors, but it isn't exposed to users. It's how procedure calls happen, though. All the args get packed into a vector. Cool. So I mean, there's a chance I could probably hack that code a little bit and open a door for myself. But I'm trying to decide how much I want to try to change what's in there versus just use what's already there to sort of demonstrate what is possible today. There's a chance I'll use dev builds of the project, but I might not go tweaking things myself unless there's something specific I feel that I could contribute to the project. Then I might make some changes and send a PR or something. But aside from that, I'll just see how creative we can be in making this work. Yeah, Dave says, get as far as you can with what's there, hack if necessary. Yeah, that's basically the goal. All right, so let me go back into the main.html file. Did I not have that open anymore? Oh, it's index.html. So we're gonna get rid of this form. Don't need that. I wanna put a canvas in here. Let me go steal the wire world example HTML file. Where is that? I know what the name of the repo is. Scheme wire world. In fact, I probably have it cloned still, so I don't need to do it this way. Yeah, it's just like canvas ID canvas. Cool, easy, no problem. So now I can go into the JavaScript code, main.js, and we still want to do the canvas setup on load, I think. I'll get rid of this for now. These scheme functions will also change. Let's call it maybe new game. I'll go into main.sem, new game. It doesn't need any inputs for now. But what I'll probably do is have, let's see. I need to come up with names. Well, I had the thought that it would be cool if I could just use lists in a sort of a persistent data structure kind of way where I could like roll back in time if I wanted to. Like I just edit, I make changes to the list data structure as I go without having to like mutate the const cells. But maybe I'll do that a little bit later after I get some things implemented. Maybe I'll just be simple at first. So that there will be 4, well, let's see. I need to check out, do I not have the Solitaire game installed on here? Let's see, Geeks install Isle Riot. Is that what it's called? I want to look at the Isle Riot game and just remember how many stacks of cards there are and things like that, because I've forgotten already. Hope this doesn't take forever. I just pulled my channels down before I did this, which is probably a huge mistake because I haven't updated my system. It's going to install a bunch of crap. You know, I shouldn't do that. I should do Geeks shell. I don't want it to affect my main profile. While that's going, let's just think about this for a second. So let's say deck. Let's see. Be like a list of lists, basically. So the deck is where you draw cards from. The stacks are the ones where you're sort of playing. I don't know what you call all these parts. Solitaire, card game, Wikipedia. Is there like nomenclature for this? Sure. There we go. It's called Klondike, right? Yeah, Klondike. Rules. Okay, so 7 fanned piles of cards. So they call that a pile. Each pile contains one more card than the last. Okay. Remaining cards form the stock and are placed face down at the upper left. 4 foundations. Okay, so let's use some real language. In fact, we don't need this shell either because now we have this picture here we can just take a look at. That's useful. Okay, so they call that piles. And this is the stock, right? Yeah, the remaining cards form the stock. So let's just go with that nomenclature for now. Gotta turn off this autosave. Okay. So new game. I mean, I guess new game would just be resetting these values, but that's fine. For now, that's what we'll do. Don't really need to get too crazy with this anyway, because it'll have to change anyway. Then we're gonna just drop a new game in here. So now we have the code we need to be called into. Main.js can call new game. And the way we call things with the WASM is that we have to use the name of the function .call. Okay. I'll get rid of this. So the MDN Canvas tutorial. The MDN has a really good tutorial about using the canvas. So let's just go and set this up. Width and height, probably good to do that. So I'll go in here to index. 1280 by 720, let's say. I don't know if that's going to be sufficient, but we'll see. Yeah, those are good docs. I was just sort of scanning over them today, and they basically answered all the questions I had, so that was pretty cool. All right, so we have that. Now we need the rendering context. We get the canvas, then we get the rendering context. Cool. So let's go back into the JavaScript. And const ctx equals, man, can you just leave me alone? Document.get. I thought that I turned off autosave mode. So get element by ID canvas. I believe I called it canvas, right? Okay. And then canvas.get context 2D. That should be it. All right. So now I have the canvas. Probably want to set up some more functions up here for the actual game logic, like for instance, function render, things of that nature. Function update, if I can spell. Time, I don't know. Not going to go too in depth with the code structuring, I think. So I want to initialize the canvas. I also want to fill it. Is there an example of filling the color here? Okay, so fill style and fill rect. So we can certainly do that. Yeah, I could probably, let's see, start the game loop. Dave says he discovered that the rational predicate is currently very borked and miscompiling. Interesting. Hello, good vibrations. All right, so we want to use a request animation frame to drive the render update loop because it's pretty high performance. Most common refresh rate is 60 hertz. Sure. All right, so we have request animation frame. Is that on window? And then callback timestamp is a decimal number in seconds. So does it automatically set 60 frames per second, or do I have to do that myself? Oh, so I call it when it's needed. Okay. Kind of gross. That's okay, I guess. Tick, CTX. What was it? Okay, first frame timestamp. Okay, so the timestamp gets passed in as a parameter, which is awesome. Isn't that right? Must be. Okay. So time. Maybe I'm certainly overthinking this, but here we go. Ah, yeah, that's right. I wanted to return this. I hope this works. Yeah, render needs the context also. I don't think update needs the context. Just needs a time. Ah, Dave says he's trying to make a canvas with the work in progress foreign function interface, which would be super cool if it worked. Stored CTX, we want to use the closure, or the value that gets stored from the closure, because otherwise I think you'll probably lose access to that. All right, so now we have this tick. I think I could probably just like inline that, can I? Let's not play around with it. Let's just do that. Create game loop. We start the first tick. Render, and then this one will also do the same thing. Request animation frame tick. And probably we need to do check for some kind of exit signal to stop the loop. Okay. So sort of recursively calling itself. Okay, so now we don't need to do this. We can just say create game loop, or I could call that start game loop even. Doesn't really need to be a function, I guess, but whatever. Okay. Let's go with that. And let's also burn our eyeballs out. That should be enough. I think if I were to run the, I'm not in vterm anymore, vterm, let's, oh, okay, we're still hosting. So in theory, if I refresh, it should show up. Let's check the console output. Did I do anything wrong? Caught in promise error, scheme.call. Okay, so, oh, I haven't rebuilt yet. So that's why this is not happy. What I can do is run a compile instead and use geeks shell m manifest.scm bin shell c. This is a lot of fun, right? Scripts/build and scripts serve. I should do it. Okay, I think it's ready to go. Cannot set properties of undefined, setting fill style, render tick. Okay, so I think maybe the, context needs to get passed in. This is why TypeScript can be useful sometimes. All right, there we go. So we got update running. We see the time ticking along there, and we have our nice yucky background color. So now that we've seen that happen, I can go ahead and take that console log out just so we don't completely lose our mind. Okay, so basic rendering. Can this come up at the bottom and not on the side? Thank you. Cool. Do need the console, but don't need it that much. This seems really big. Why is it so big? Should I drop that down to a smaller size? Also, I want to use the actual size of the canvas element. So const canvas equals, and then start game loop. We can say what the width and height are. So canvas dot, is that going to work? We'll find out, won't we? So in the canvas, there's like a, what is it, 960? 960 resolution, not 920. 960, it's like 960, excuse me, 960 or 980, I think. 960 by 540, okay. Let's try that. Just to make it show up a little bit better on the screen. I don't know if this is gonna work, but okay. Seemed to work. It told me the resolution a second ago. I don't know if it was when I hovered over it. Okay. Seems to be fine. I also want to center that element. So can I go in here and say, let's just drop some lines down. Style. Does text align center work on that? No. HTML, no. CSS center canvas. It's basically like centering a div, I guess. Get out of here. Gotta do this fun stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, the margin left, margin right, and display block. I'm pretty sure those are the key ones. All right. Now, if I go back. Okay, there we go. It's centered. I like that. Div. Okay, got that done. Also, should probably set a background color. What is it? I guess if I start inspecting elements here. Body. Hello. There we go. Wait a second. What is this then? Okay, it's the body. Can you let me add something? Why can't I edit it? Whatever. Is it BG color? Man, I gotta remember my CSS. Okay, background dash color, cool. Background. So, I don't want to go with this standard green solitaire background color. Let's go with something else. HTML color picker. Let's go with something more like a purplish kind of thing. Why? Because we're going to go kind of cyberpunk on this at some point. Let's just start with a different color scheme. Something a little bit more muted. That looks good. Let's go with that. Steal the, well, let's go with the hex value. That's fine. And then, all right, so we got that. Need to set the foreground color on the text. Cool. Purple G says, purple is an excellent choice. Yes, I can see why you would say that. All right, so also I need to set the background color correctly for the game. It's gonna look like it's sort of floating out there for now, but that's okay. So I think I can use a hex code even for the color in Canvas too, can I? So if I go to main.js, the color is RGB. I believe if I copy the hex, it will also work. Let's put that there and see. I have a feeling that will work. Whoops, not that one. Okay, that does work. Cool. All right, Foof. F-F-O-O-F-F. Yes, that's the color that will burn your eyeballs. Now that we've got that, let's see if we can just draw a simple card. So let's say function draw card. For now, this is going to be very dumb because I don't really know exactly how our loop is going to be running. So now I'll go back to the MDN documentation. There's some information about drawing shapes. Drawing a rectangle is pretty easy. So XY position, width, and height. Now, there's some code down here for drawing a rectangle with curved corners. And I think I'm just going to take that because that's actually what I want it to do. But there's also something about path2D to make this more efficient. I don't know if we need that yet, but we'll see. Let's just steal this rounded rect function. Just give a little attribution here. Okay. So I'm going to draw the card, rounded. Let's also call that something a little bit more obvious. Draw rounded rect. On the context, I'll start at position 100, 100. Let's see, what size do I want on this? Let me take a look at this image. Let me see if I can get the aspect ratio here. Can I copy the image and then go into GIMP and then paste it? Boom. All right, so let's zoom in slightly. Use selection tool. All right, so these cards are, what did that say, 71 by 11? I think this thing tells me 71 by 111. If I divide that, 70 was 71. No, gotta add a .0 on something. Uh-oh. All right, so 0.64. That's the sort of multiplier I guess I would use. But I can try using the size they have for now. So that was 71 by 111. So we'll go into our code here, 71, 111, and I'll say I want a radius of 3, no, maybe 4 for now, just to see how that looks. Also need a color, which I think I should set before. CTX dot, they're gonna be stroke or fill. Fill. It draws a solid shape by filling in the path contents area. Okay. Excellent. Begin path stroke. Is there not an end path? No. All right, fine. Cool. So that's all we need. Do I need to stroke and fill? I'll start with fill, and we'll see what happens. Context dot fill color. Where is the color for that being set? Color. Fill style. Okay. Applying styles and colors. Fill style. Fill style equals color. Okay, so if I just set that to white, let's try that. So fill style equals white, because I think I can use CSS color names. Go back into our game, reload it. Not seeing anything yet. No errors in the console, so I must be doing something wrong. Oh, I'm not calling it. That would help a lot, I think. Context.draw card context. Let's also give it a lots of fill. That's right. We were talking about fill yesterday. We're talking about fill today. X, Y. Need that too. Let's put X and Y here. And then we'll do our 100, 100. And then reload. Draw card is not a function. Oh, that's because it's not on context. Cool. All right, it looks pretty good, right? Nice rounded edges. If I close this out, I mean, that's a pretty decent size. Maybe I'd want it to be a little bit bigger though. In fact, I kind of want to set the border on the canvas. Border color white for now. Border width 2px, because I want to see it. CSS border. Get out of here. I live in the EU, so I have to deal with these pop-ups all the time. Okay, so border style solid. I don't think I need that. Should be default. Okay, let's just do it. Probably I do need it. Border style solid. Okay, I did need it after all. Let's also go back to 1px width, just to, yeah, not be so crazy. So now we can see the extent of our canvas a little bit. I would probably make that card a bit bigger. So we had said before that it's 0.64 aspect ratio on the cards. Let's go into our code. I want to save that for later. So card aspect ratio factor is 0.64. So const card width. Do I want to do it by width or height? Probably by width. So if I say the width is going to be 85, and then, no, this is backwards, right? It has to be height. 111 over 71. That's 1.56. So if this is going to be 85, then I multiply card width by aspect ratio is 1.56. It's not perfect, but it's fine. Whatever. Aspect ratio. Okay. That seems all right. I think that we got a blurry edge here because I'm on a subpixel boundary. I wonder if I should just floor it. Const card height equals card width times aspect ratio JavaScript math floor. Math.floor. Okay. It's not gonna be that bad, I think. I should probably also initialize this size information somewhere else. Okay, so that's sharper edge. Okay. So that's pretty good progress for now. Now I just need to get the sort of deck shape all worked out. So we got this stack here in the corner. I'll probably move this some. All the cards that I want to draw. Let me actually check one thing. Yeah, they have an outline. I probably want to outline on mine too. So if I set the stroke style, whoops, not, whoa, hold on, in the wrong place. Context.stroke style equals black. Rounded rect will also stroke. I think that should work. Well, all right, let's move that a little bit. Okay, yeah, it did work. So we do have a black outline. It's a little bit blurry, but that's fine. I'm not that concerned about it right now. That's sort of fit and finish things that could be done later. All right, so I'll need to do some better calculations for placement of all this stuff, but for now I can just start drawing a bunch of cards. So draw the stock, draw the foundations, draw the piles. So we're drawing a card. If I go back and look at that image again, so there's two positions. There's the unflipped one and the flipped one, I guess. So there's going to be two next to each other. Let's call this X position of 50. We'll call that 50 also. And that could be 100. This could be 50. Go and reload the game. Oh, that's not big enough. We do need the card width, I think, which tells me I probably need to define these functions inside of the game loop context so all this stuff can be calculated at first. Suppose it's not entirely necessary. Maybe I could just do it as a global. Nah. Let's do it. Let's do this way. This might be a little annoying, but that's okay. So drawing a card, we do need to have the width and height, so that will have to be moved in here. But the general rectangle drawing function can stay out because it's not tied to the game state. So here, you can pull this out, call this card aspect ratio. Okay. And now, I also want to have const card spacing equals, let's call it 20 for now. That might need to be adjustable. So if I go back to draw card, so I want to say card width, well, let's say 50 plus card width plus card spacing, right? Okay, so that looks better. Now, the foundations will be similar. We'll start the foundation position at, let's call it maybe 250. Const foundation start equals 250. Or foundation X, let's say. And for card spacing, times I plus 1. Maybe I could just do this instead, save myself some trouble. That didn't work. Foundation X plus card width times I think. So card width plus card spacing, I think that needs to be all multiplied by I. In fact, this may need to be 0 after all. There we go. Okay, so that's not bad. Could be moved over slightly, so maybe I could say foundation X could be 500. Okay, I like that. Next, let's go for the piles. This is going to be just a number of these here. How many piles do we have? Is it 6? What is that right? 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay, 7 piles. Cool. Const piles x. I suppose piles x is going to be the same as the stock x. So it's going to be 50. Let's call it 50. I'll probably set that in a variable soon. And then the const piles y is going to be, let's call it, I don't know, 500, just to see how that looks. Oh, that's too far down. Let's call it 300 then. Okay, so I think the spacing may need to be different on this one because it needs to be balanced. So this is where I think some calculations would be useful. If I know that I have like a certain play area rectangle, or at least, you know, the inside boundaries here, then I can calculate the spacing between these cards based on how many cards there are. If I want to scale the size of the board, I'm going to have to do that probably. Okay. So let's do some calculations. And do we know what the width and height is here? I think we should, right? Am I not passing it in? Yeah, okay, I don't take it as a parameter yet. Screen width, screen height, let's just call it, because that's, you know, typically what you do. Const so stock X is 50. That's what we're using right now. But const game width is screen width. Yeah, we sort of need to figure this out. And this should also be calculated based on the same thing. Everything can be done based on the size. I shouldn't spend too much time thinking about this though, because it's just a waste. We could fix all that later. So if we say that we want the game width to be screen width times what? So we know that it's 960, right? Let me go back to index. It's 960 that I set by default. So if I were to just do a little calculation in the echo area here, 960 times 0.15. That's 144, seems like too big. 0.05 is 48. That sounds a bit better, so maybe 0.05. 0.05. So margin X, or let's say game margin X, game margin Y would be the same thing for the screen height, I guess. So the height is 540. So if I do the same thing for 540, whoops. Maybe I want the margin to be the same on both sides though, so that it looks equivalent. So let's just let it be the same. So maybe game margin. Okay, let's just let it be that. And it may turn out that I need to do this based on the height, but we'll get to that. So stock X, I would say this should be the game margin. And then const stock Y should also be game margin. Can I do that? No. I don't know if that works. Is that valid syntax? Don't think so. I think I can destructure. I don't know if plain old JavaScript can do this right now. I'm guessing it can. What don't you like? Variable declaration. JavaScript Destructuring assignment. So I have to do it as an array. Okay. There we go. Okay, so stock X, stock Y. I think I've also defined those somewhere in here. Or not. Stock X, stock Y. I'll have to change that foundation X also to fall in line with the calculations. For the piles, let's take a look at the image of the board that we have. I mean, it's actually quite close, and it probably has to be quite close because you need enough space to make the piles extend down to the bottom within the margin. Okay, that's cool. So piles Y should probably be, excuse me, the card height plus card spacing. Let's move all of these position settings up to the top. Right here. And I think we need to move this too because we're calculating card size before all that. Okay. Whoop. Let's reload our game. Whoop, that's definitely not right. And this seems a little bit off. Oh, that's because I didn't do this. Stock X. Piles Y. Did I not do that right? Piles Y is card height plus card spacing. How did that not show up right? And then const pile spacing equals screen width minus game margin times 2, because we're trying to say that the we're getting the width of the screen, we're subtracting the margin width on both sides to get just this amount here, and then we want to add up the card width for the number of cards. So we're getting that screen width, the whole screen width, right? We're subtracting the full width of the cards end to end to see how much space is left. And then I think we want to divide that by 7 to see how much space. It may be 6 or 7. We'll see. All right. Pile spacing, and right here I will say pile spacing. That's almost right. I think I do need to say 6 because that's the number of spaces that need to be injected. That's not exactly right. I wonder why. Something is not fully right about the calculation. So game margin times 2 minus the screen width, which should give us just this space inside. You know what? Actually, that is right. This is correct. This is not right. So I think what I need, let's see. Oh, these actually fit the same spacing. Interesting. So those need to be spaced the same way. So foundation X should probably be calculated as a screen width minus game margin, because we want to get the X position right here. Then minus card width times 4. Judy says, I see we're programming a game in the worst scheme implementation ever. Yeah, that's right. Unfortunately, I'm having to write a lot more JavaScript code than I expected I would. But that's, you know, we're trying to draw stuff here, so. All right, so screen width minus game margin minus card width times 4, because there's 4 of them. And then we also need to factor in the spacing. So card width, no. Yes. Plus pile spacing. So that's the X position to start with. Let's get rid of these outer parentheses. No. Oh, actually, that is right. I'm just not using the right spacing. So my other PC keeps going to sleep. It's great. Dave says, almost all of this JavaScript will be able to become schemes soon. Well, that would be the ideal. Okay, so the drawing of the foundation cards should use pile spacing. All right, so it's a little bit off here. Should I say ×3? No. Dave says, we could even use whatever you make this week as a thing to compare before and after. That'd be cool. I'd be down for that. Screen. Oh, okay. Actually, this should be factored in separately. So let's do this. Card width ×4 minus pile spacing ×3. There we are. So now this all looks better, but we need to fix the height first. Sorry, the spacing, the vertical spacing between these. So should I also do the pile spacing on these two as well? Probably so, right? Yeah, okay. So in fact, where do we have card spacing? Card spacing is here. Let's just delete this. Change this to card spacing, and then change all pile spacing to card spacing. Whoop. Oh, okay. Let me undo what I did because I don't know what just happened. Oh, that's what happened. Or not. So card spacing, did I factor that in here? No. Let's reload. Okay, so that's back to where it was. Card spacing. Okay, piles Y is, yeah, okay, gotcha. That's what happened. Okay, so now this all looks better. Still need to fix the height, I think. Oh, maybe the height is somewhat better. Draw the piles. Piles Y is card height. No, that's wrong. It needs to be game margin plus card height plus card spacing. There we are. Okay. Is that? Okay. That seems like it. So we have our basic card rendering, at least the starting point. Let's go ahead and see if I can render the rest of the cards in these stacks. We obviously also need to have, you know, faces on these cards and stuff, which I'll figure out in a little bit. Judy says, what I'm really learning today is that I'm doing my work setup wrong, needs more Emacs. Yeah. Whenever you start putting more time into it, it definitely helps. So let's change the for loop. This one right here. Each of the piles, in fact, let's see. Const piles equals, and it's going to be an array of arrays. Let's do this a little bit differently. I think there's also a better way I could do this with an initializer, but whatever. And how many do we expect to see? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess it's just the number I expect to see, right? That's 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. That's enough. For j equals 0, j is less than piles I dot length. I think length is right, isn't it? Yeah. J plus plus. Draw a card. Also, let's see. Const num cards equals length. Because we're going to need to use that for calculation of the spacing between the cards as we're drawing them down. So we're going to draw each of them starting at the 0th one. So stock X plus card width plus card spacing. I could probably pre-calc this, because the X will be the same. Const pile X equals. All right, and then piles Y plus J times, let's see, how would I calculate this? We want it to be the entire extent here. So it's basically from the starting point. So piles Y, screen height minus piles minus game margin minus piles Y. That is going to be, wait. Yeah, that's right. So screen height minus game margin, because we want to get this location right here. We want the last card to end right there. Minus the card height. So that should give us the position right here. So really what we want is the position from here to here. Actually, that's going to be the same for each one. I know that there's sort of like a range, but you know what? Maybe that's the way we should do it. So we should just have a single value. In fact, we should probably calculate that up here. So const pile card spacing Y equals screen height minus game margin minus piles Y minus card height. So this minus this minus this. We want this distance. So yeah. Okay, yeah. So minus card height divided by, is it the other way? We'll figure it out. Screen height. Yeah, that might be totally jacked up, but let's see. Let's see what it does. I think I can draw that now. Okay, so I didn't do anything. I wonder, let's just hard code this for a moment. So 30. Oh, yeah, piles Y plus J times 30. This needs to be grouped. What the hell, dude? Oh, do I have a console error? There must be. Hello, Control Shift I. That's weird. Something weird's happening because I can see it spinning. Oh, did I kill this? Huh. Okay. New tab. Who knows what's happening? Every time I try to use the key binding to get into the developer tools, it starts making the page unresponsive, which makes no sense whatsoever. And for some funny reason, the key binding no longer works. Okay, so I stopped drawing this card. Did I break something else somewhere? Proc-ed. So Chrome is flipping out. But not now. I wonder if I need to constrain that re-render. Hold up. Something very wrong is happening. Oh, hold up. I think I've got like an infinite loop. I think I must be getting this size wrong. I got a pretty strong feeling that's what it is. So piles I console.log num cards. If I can get the tools to open up. I can't like force a refresh. Oh, thanks, Judy. Thank you very much. That was dumb. Judy caught my mistake. I was saying I is less than the number of cards rather than J. That'll do it. Okay, cool. At least we're back in business. Yeah, it happens for sure. So let me put this back in. Was that multiplied? Plus. Okay. So piles Y times, no, hold on. Plus card height times J. Piles Y plus card height times J. Plus piles card spacing. Yeah. It needs to be multiplied by something. We'll fix that in a moment. So piles Y, what is piles Y then? Oh, does it even, piles card spacing Y is not defined. Okay. Piles card spacing, pile card spacing. That will do it. Okay. Now let's take that log out. Yep, okay, don't want that. Take out the card height. Okay, that's too small, but we can see at least that the cards are being rendered. So my calculation here is a little bit off. It seems very small, so something is definitely wrong. So screen height minus game margin minus card height. That one seems right. Screen height minus game margin. Let's just say piles Y, I would say. That's worse. So if I were to calculate this visually, we want to start right around here, let's say. We want to find the distance between here and the place where the cards start being rendered. Yeah, okay, so I think this is not correct. All right, it doesn't really help. So from here to here, yeah. No. Maybe that's right. Screen height minus game margin. Screen height minus game margin, and then screen height. Maybe that was right. Screen height minus game margin minus piles of white. This may need to get flipped though. Worse. Okay. Something about this will come out right. So screen height minus game margin gives me this position right here. Piles Y is here. So that gives me the distance between here and here, right? Oh, okay. There's something different that I need to calculate. For 7 cards, okay, so maybe the card height does need to be factored in here. I think that's the missing piece. Need the count of cards to place. Yes, I guess the maximum is 7, right? Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. So if you think of 7 cards stacked top to bottom, their full height, and you want to make that fit within this range, which is represented by this. So if I divide the bigger one by the smaller one, I get the smaller number. So maybe that's it, right? If I say card height times 7 divided by the screen height. That's a bit better, but not perfect. Card height times 7. Is there anything I'm missing there? Card height times 7. Judy says, so height equals upper bound minus lower bound. Per card offset equals height divided by 7. Per card offset height divided by... Ooh. Height divided by 7. I think you're right. So it's divided by then, huh? Let's have it upside down. Or is it just that? Divided by 7, right? Boom. Okay, so that's close. That's much closer than what I had before. Did I say 6? Or is that worse? That's worse. 7. Calculate the height you want to spread, then divide by how many sub-heights you want. Yes, for sure. So screen height minus game margin minus piles Y. Probably want a margin. Yeah, I thought I had that factored in here. So screen height. Do I need to do the card height also, maybe? Screen height minus game margin. Minus piles Y. That doesn't tell me the right thing, does it? piles y is the upper bound. Yeah, the game margin is the box. Yeah, I want the yeah. Screen height minus game margin is the boundary, is the upper boundary, and then piles y is the lower boundary. So if I subtract screen height minus game margin minus piles y, that gives me the amount of space in between those. So basically, from here to here. If I divide that by 7, add some margin at the bottom, subtract some value, yeah. So you're saying just add another margin in here, so like minus 50? That's working for now. I wonder if I started like tweaking things if it would break it, but anyway, that's okay. Whoop. So at least we've got a game board rendering, which is cool. Now let's think about maybe rendering some text on here, just to get the sort of faces and stuff in. So how would I do that? I mean, I know how I'd render text, but now I need to start actually representing a card state. So I probably need some objects. And what I was thinking is that I need to have a way to encode a card. So let's say the suit, like heart, plus the number, like 4. So maybe H4 is 4 of hearts. DJ equals jack of diamonds. S, A is ace of spades. And what is the other one? Clubs. C. Oh, game margin may be a bit off because it's calculated based on width. Ah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I might need to look into that too. C of what? 2 equals 2 of clubs. So I can try to interpret what a card is based on these strings, and this is the kind of strings I would be sending back from the scheme layer, I think. In fact, let me just put this closer here. So I'll have a function. Actually, no, let's not do that. It'd be nice if I could just sort of randomly generate all this. I'll do that later. For now, let's just get this in. I want to just see something happening. So if I could change 0 to H4, just inside of this scope. That needs to be strings too. That's okay. All right, and from here, I'll just change H4 to H4 in quotation marks. Okay, that's good enough. So now, for drawing a card, I need to interpret that string. X, Y, face, let's call it. I don't know if that's the right thing. Card. So we have the rectangle. Now draw the face and rank, I think they call it. So the first character would be, can I do that with a, so JavaScript string index. I'm pretty sure I can just index right into the string. Can I do like a switch? Maybe I need a function that can just interpret a card. So function interpret card, card string. Let face equals JavaScript enum. Did we have that in JavaScript, using enums in JavaScript? Get out. Oh, come on, man. Some random blog, apparently. Is that it? Const faces. That's equal. Oh, is this just an object? Symbols. Okay, we're just coming up with ways to do this. Fine. This is fine. Okay, so hearts is 1, spades 2, clubs 3. That's not right. Is it? Face? Playing card face versus rank. Sure. Playing card suit. Okay, they call them suits. All right, so diamonds, clubs, hearts, and spades. And then rank. Ranking of suits. No. Yeah, ranks, okay. Rank is going to be an integer, but I can say that this would be ace. Well, let's call it 1. Maybe that's not really correct, but that's fine. King, no. Jack is 11. Queen is 12, is that right? Because we have 10. That's 11, 12. King is 13. Oh, I gotta fix my syntax here. Okay, so we have suit and rank. Maybe I'll just drop those up at the top, because those don't need to be redefined every time we run the game. Okay, then let's see. We're going to do a switch over. Let's just call it 2. Judy says, how's Emacs default key bindings treating you? I'm not using them. I'm using Evil. Okay, so we have suit and rank. I'm going to do a switch on card string 0. I wonder if I can do... That's fine. So case H. Let's do it this way, just so I can short circuit right out of the switch. Without having to do anything special. Yeah. Actually, I gotten so used to using the normal way of doing query replace in Emacs that I forgot about the Vim style. I used to use Vim style all the time, then I just like totally forgot about it. H, D. C, clubs. Whoops. And which one is red? So hearts and diamonds are red. Let's put those together because they are both the same color. So hearts and diamonds. That way we can know whether something is red or not just based on the value. Okay, so spades and clubs are black. All right. Cool. So now we can interpret the suit. Hearts, diamonds, spades, clubs. We're going to do the same thing for function interpret rank. So let's say, ooh. Yeah, all right. So we're going to have a slightly different scheme here. I'll grab this. So we're going to say card string 1. If it's A, return a rank dot ace. If it's case J, if it's Q, if it's 0, we're going to do something a little bit special here. Rank, or actually, we'll just return 10. And default, JavaScript, string to number. Just give me the answer. I don't need all this extra junk. Parse int. Okay, ace, jack, queen. Is that what I have? Ace, jack, queen, king. Forgot the king. All right. So we're going to say 0 is 10 because these cards should have 2 characters that represent each card. So now interpret suit, interpret rank. I may need to break this down. Return %. Thanks, Vlad. Appreciate it. Isn't ace 1? Thanks. Rank. Ace is 1, but I've got that as a constant. That's a good point, though. I shouldn't allow 1 to be used, right? I guess if they use 1, that's okay. Note, shouldn't really allow 1, but I don't care. Make ace 10? Is that right? Okay. Put this up here next to these functions. These functions could actually be defined outside. 0 will be handled by %. It won't because it won't get there because I've got it here first. Let me just grab these and drop them outside of this whole closure. Yeah, I could be missing something, but we'll see. We'll see whenever I start implementing the logic whether it actually works. Okay, so now that we've got all this, we can draw the suit and the rank for the card. The suit and rank. Okay, so we'll go back to the tutorial here and look at drawing text. Let me also tweak something for a second here. Let's change H4 to D7 for some of these. All right, so that'll give us the ability to see some being drawn as red, some being drawn as black. Yep, that should work. Now, interpret suit, interpret rank. We have the suit and the rank. Pick the color based on the suit. Well, actually, how do we set the color? Fill text, and the text color is based on what? Text. Okay, so it's basically just the fill style. Cool, whatever. Context dot fill style equals suit is less than 3, red, otherwise black. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, yeah, okay. So that will set the fill style correctly. We also want to set the font, which I don't know if we need to set that right now. Let's see if we can draw text without it. So let's fill text. And we kind of want to go back to the... Yeah, we'll just draw the letter for now. So for... Let me take a look at the image again of this. So, whoops. So we have the rank over the suit. Rank first. So card 1. We'll just render the string directly for now. And we want this to be inside of the rectangle. So x plus 5, let's say. And also y plus 5. This is probably not going to be enough spacing. Maybe I could say 10. Oh, let's go with 5 for now. See how it looks. Curious if that's actually going to do anything. Where's my... Okay. Yep. All right, we got an error. Cannot read the properties of undefined, reading 0. So interpret suit 2120. Okay, yep. So I think I'm not passing it in. So draw a card. When I call draw a card, I need to... If card is not undefined, then I can draw those things. Because some of these calls won't need to pass in a card. Only the ones where a card is face up. So now, since I have these, I can look at the... Where am I? Right here. Okay. Piles of I, J. Okay, it's trying to draw it. It's a little bit small. I need to tweak the font size. It's not picking the right color either, apparently. So context dot, what was it? This also seems, oh, I wonder if it's based on the, see, CSS font alignment. I want the vertical alignment. Vertical align. Text top, let's say. How do I set that? There probably isn't a way to do that. This is the text drawing? No. Align? Text align, baseline. Baseline, text baseline is top. Okay, cool. Text baseline equals top. We can just check that real fast and see if it helped. Yeah, okay, good. That's more like it. And I want to make it a bit bigger. So font. (10px sans serif). Let's call that 20px sans serif. I don't know if that's going to work. All right, that's a bit bigger. Let's go with maybe 15. Okay, so that's 4 and 7. Okay, I think that's right. Let's also draw the rank below. Sorry, no, that's the suit. So we're gonna say y plus 15. That's probably not enough, but okay, 20. Yeah, I need to center this somehow in a way. Also, the color is not coming out right. So if suit is less than 3, what is a suit that we're looking at here? Dave says, I have a sprite that can be moved around on the canvas with arrow keys. That's pretty cool. I'm writing way too much JavaScript code here. Save me. Please save me. Okay. This check must be wrong. Fill style. Oh, it's because I'm an idiot. That's why. So I need to choose spades or clubs. My suffering should be short-lived. Yes, I believe that. What was it, D7? Let's change D7 to S7. Okay, now that should fix it. Boom. All right, so we have some black and red. I also want to use the actual character. So, do we still have that Wikipedia page up? Can I copy this? I need to have the real character too. I mean, I suppose I could use the real character for these. Right? That's spade. I should go here. I wonder if Hoot's gonna be able to cope with that though, if I have the characters in. It'd be cool if I could do that, just to have it just directly there. And I will do, where is it? The interpret function, right? Oh, okay, it got done already. Let me go back into code. Oh, that font can't render that. Okay, so how, wow, we're almost out of time here. What font can I use for this? Sans serif monospace. Let's just see what that looks like. Still doesn't show up right. Hold on. Yeah, I wonder if that just doesn't render it correctly. But I think monospace is actually the right thing to do here. Why is that wrong? What is this? Huh. Is it because it's like a Unicode character? Okay, so ASCII spade character. Maybe it's in the ANSI extended set. Let's not fool around with this. I think we're gonna get a major headache if we do that. So let me just undo some things here. Okay, so then sans serif, we'll put that back to monospace. Just double checked. All right, we're back to normal. And then, yeah, I thought I could get an actual character that could render. ANSI character spade. Okay, so these characters, in theory, should work, right? So this is 0, 3. How do I turn that into a character? So, JavaScript number to character. Care code at. God, get me out of here. From care code. Let's go to the console. And what was it? So hard is 3, right? Doesn't actually show me anything. Int to care code at. What? All right, so clearly that's not going to work. Because I think if the console can't render it as that character, then it's not going to work. However, I wonder, though, if I could just do that translation myself. So maybe let's just go back to what I was looking at before. This one. Thank you. All right, so now interpret suit. Come on now. Return. All right. Just do that for now. Because I want to see if it works. I need to use it. Draw. Wait, fill text. So this is suit care. X. All of them are X. How'd I do that? Suit.spades, suit. Oh, I need to interpret the suit first. Blah. Maybe I should do that the other way then. So it still doesn't work. HTML canvas draw Unicode. Not rendering properly. Enclose the hex value inside of the quotes. Yuck. So if I had the hex value, is that right though? Let's see. Probably did something wrong. JavaScript, canvas, draw, playing card, spade. I don't want to, I mean, sure. I can use shapes, but I don't want to. Of course, use a PNG file. I don't want to use the paths, dude. Sure, I can do that, but I was gonna try to avoid it. So hold on, text. String value, string suit. Ah, sure. Okay. Well, I think we may be out of time for that for now. We can just stick with what we have, and maybe I'll find a way to do that next time. So let's go suit care. Let's just take that back out for now, and then just get back to where we were. So I guess the question is, can I do the same thing flipped at the bottom to make it look like a card? Because usually you have the same thing upside down on the other side. Suppose if I were to use like a transform or render to an off-screen image and display it twice, that could work. But not sure how much I want to bother with that. So HTML canvas draw text rotated. Okay, yeah, we need to do the save and restore. We can do rotation. This is probably not going to work out very well, but let's see what happens. X plus card width -5, Y plus card height. Whoa, what did I just do? It's not flipped yet, obviously, but let's just see if it renders. Wow, what the hell? Oh, yeah. Okay, so for the ones that are not at the top, for the bottom, we need to do a little check here. Oh boy. Vlad is giving another possibility, I think. Let's see what Vlad said there. In the console, console.log /u 2660. Boom, that is actually correct. Let's try this then. 2660, right? Let's just return the same string then if we don't use it. Fill text. Let's take this out for a moment. Boom, good job, lad. Nice. So now, case H. Let's see, heart, he says, is 2665. Diamond is 2666. Club is 3. I think I got that wrong here, right? It's 266. Is it 0? Yeah, wow. Weird they skip the numbers like that. Wow, that looks great. Thank you, Vlad. All right. That looks awesome. I might bump the font size slightly. So fill text, let's go with maybe 17 px. I may need to adjust the offsets a little bit too. Yeah, that looks way better. And if I can just like really quickly try to get that bottom one rendering, bottom visible. Then here, I can say that the bottom is visible if, let's see, num cards, j equals num, or let's see, j plus 1 equals num cards, right? I think that's the way it would be. Yeah. So there's only drawing the one at the bottom here because it's the only one that's visible. And then I need to change the offset a little bit, rendering at that point. So maybe let's say this is minus 15. Yeah. And then, oh, this needs to have suit care as well. It doesn't need to be flipped for now. We can just leave it the way it is. I don't mind it too much. Say 25. It's a little bit too magical here. I need to calculate these a little bit better. Oh, ha, that's weird. That was 5 and 20. So I added 15 to it. So what would that be? 10? Okay. Yeah, okay. I think that's a pretty nice little start there, right? Pretty good for 2 hours. So we're at a point now where we have the game board rendering in a basic way. We have a way to interpret strings for cards, which is going to be important for transmitting the game state back from Scheme whenever we actually start implementing the Scheme side of things. So the way that I imagine this is that in the Scheme code, whenever we want to transmit like one of the piles back, it would basically just be a string of those 2-character encodings of a card. So we just have like a string that just has those encodings in there. Maybe their commas are limited, maybe not. It just really depends on how we need to do that. And then that can just be turned into an array of these string encodings. And then that gets used for all the rendering. And then whenever anything needs to happen in the game, like for instance, if a player wants to click on this card and then see if it can go on top of this deck, then that information will be sent across to the Scheme layer to say, can this be done? And if it can, then maybe it sends back the new game state or not. I don't know. We'll have to see. There's a few different ways to do it, but at least for now, I'm pretty satisfied with the initial look of this. I think it's a good basis for going forward. So tomorrow, we'll be back here around the same time, I think. It really just depends on like how long it takes me to get done with family duties in the day until I can get to sit down. But we will be back for another 2 hours tomorrow. And I think in that time, we'll start implementing the basis of the game logic to see if we can generate all the cards that should be visible here and then have them rendering. Now that we have a way to render them, then we should be able to get the game state from the Scheme side and then have it over in the JavaScript side to render it. So that should be pretty exciting. Then during the weekdays, we'll be able to actually implement the game to be working. If I push this code right now, it won't go live because I don't have a site set up for it yet, but maybe tomorrow we can get that working so that at least you can, go to a site and see this thing loaded and running. So that'll be pretty fun if we can get there. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here today. I appreciate all of the input and help, because I made a few mistakes. So it's great to have you all here to look over my shoulder and check my work while I'm doing it. And hopefully it was fun to watch this, and we'll be back here tomorrow to do a bit more. So thanks everybody for being here, and until next time, keep it creative. We'll see you.